Vinney Chopra, a man who took $7 to a portfolio of over $250 million in apartment investing. He mentors and coaches to make apartment syndication easy. Each week, he will share his expertise, tricks, trades, and golden nuggets how to master the art of syndication to bring cash flow streams to your business, to change your life for the better. Here is Mr. Smiles.
Syndication Made Easy with Vinney Chopra, also known as Mr. Smiles. Mr. Smiles is pretty much the top syndicator in the U.S. He's a #1 international best-selling author with his new book, Make Syndication Easy. And I mean, okay, here. This man came to this country with $7 in his pocket. Now he's one of the top syndicators in the world. And if you don't know anything about syndication, pick up his book. I'll put the link here down below. And tune into our podcast each week because we're going to educate you for sure. And I'm going to pull all the information from Mr. Chopra. So, I mean, right now, like the $7 is he's now worth $250 million. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. I just want 10%.
I'll qualify that, not worth, but you're at portfolio. Yeah, Alicia.
Yes, your portfolio. Yes, your business portfolio. Still, it's a good problem to have. And each week he'll be teaching you his golden nuggets. And this is information that his mastermind students, they pay thousands and thousands of dollars for. And we are going to break it down, give it to you for free right here on this podcast. Each week, we're going to talk about a different subject. So I want to get down to business with Mr. Smiles. Vinney, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Alicia. It's early morning right here in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, where we live. We've been living here for 39 years, and I've been married 39 years. Just very excited. And also in our place right here in Danville, Black Hawk area. I'm very excited. It's early morning, but I love to get up early and let's crush it. Yeah.
You're always up early. Sometimes I'll get a text message. I'm like, did you sleep?
When you're passionate about something, Alicia, the time doesn't matter. That's what I find. I retired 4 or 5 years back now, and my wife says, Vinney, you are more busier now than what you were. You're more passionate now, more excited now than when you were doing W-2 jobs. So,
well, I think also it's because of something that you love and that you truly believe in. Today I want to talk to you about probably the #1 thing that most salespeople in general, more or less people in the syndication business, when they're dealing with investors, have a problem with, and that is overcoming objections.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So huge. So huge. So first of all, give us the definition of it. Well, I'm going to come into the syndication world, but what is an objection?
Very good point. Actually, when people object, if we are selling a prospect, right, Alicia, and if an investor or broker or anybody who has an objection, that tells us, and we should think about it, thank God they are giving us an objection. That's the attitude we should have, because people will not give us objection if they were not immersed in your material. Remember that. Because they are giving objection because they are understanding what you're trying to communicate, but there is something in their mind which is not really clear. All right. So they will ask you questions and give you objections to what they already have put in their mind as the truth. See, in our world, people are creatures of habits. They're creatures of what they listen. They're creatures of what they read and what's given to them in the social media, and they read a lot and they form their opinions. See, that's the thing. So we need to really be happy when people give you objections.
So you're referring to like preconceived notions that people have.
Exactly. You just introduce something different in front of them and they just feel like, no. Tell me more about it. See, objection again could be looked at. It's a no, or it's a yes, it's a smaller yes. So when people give objections, we should be happy. We should say fabulous. Now, second thing I would like to mention right now, and I've been in my sales career for 40 years, actually, to be truthful. When I was a motivational speaker, when I was a salesperson, sales director, regional manager, district, and everything. But the thing is, you got to love objections. You love to learn to love no's, not the yeses. See, that's the biggest thing in our life. We are always looking for yeses. Yes, 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 yes. But if you made 100,000 last year or 200,000 last year, go ahead and look at how many clients or investors you worked with, how many said yes, but then also figure out how many said no. So now you take the yeses and the nos together, you divide that 200,000 income or 300 or 500,000 income from last year, divide by yes and no together. Haha. Now we got the real number. That means every time you get a no, you made $2,000 or $4,000. See? So that's the real psychology. It's a subconscious. We need to be always striving for no's to get to the yeses. See?
I completely agree. And that's actually something that I teach too. People are always like, how do you do it? How do you handle it? All these things. I'm like, if you're not getting no's, you're never going to get a yes.
Exactly.
So if you don't sit there and then learn from those no's, and that's something I want to talk about next with you.
Sure.
How do you teach your students? Well, there's two parts to this question. A, how do they deal, they're talking to an investor and they're like, nope, I'm not doing it. I know my friend, he lost his butt in, 2008 or 9 or whatever the case may be. And I'm not doing that and blah, 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 blah. How do you teach your students to handle that kind of situation? Then also, I guess I want to know, how do you teach them to learn from the true, or how do you teach them to understand what the true objection is? Because people will tell you something, but it's not the true reason why they're telling you no.
I'm so glad you said that. Oh my gosh, you read some books. I'd like to put a plug for Tom Hopkins' book. He's been a great mentor of mine for many, many years. How to Master the Art of Selling Anything. I hope every syndicator, every person reads that book. It's an amazing book because it teaches us to really how to bring up. First of all, they say you have to ignore the objections. See, that's what you just talked about. Let them say that objection a couple of times, 3 times before you answer. The other part, which I also learned many years back, was to handle objections before they come.
Me too. That's one of my things too. Overcome objections before you get them.
Exactly.
Understand what they're going for. I'm totally agreeing.
So important that we cover our materials in such a way, and you set up a stage with the investors or any prospect. I mean, the things we talk about in our podcast are applicable to any kind of business. Any kind of scaling up to where you're dealing with a broker or, with contractors or with your employees. I mean, let them speak up, of course, but you do want to cover their objections. Try to put yourself in their shoes and think, what could be the objection? See? And then when you meet with them, you are able to handle those objections beforehand by giving them the answers. And then when they do ask you again some more questions 3-4 times, you better answer them. And you always say, I exactly know how you feel because some other investors mentioned the same thing. See, look at that. So
now they don't feel like they're all alone.
Exactly.
I think that this is something we're probably going to have to do a 2-part on because, both of us having a strong sales background, we both understand how the world works in any type of sales industry. But okay, so what if your students don't have? Maybe they're an HR person, or they're a grocery store, or a lawyer or a doctor. Sure. They're not used to objections, and they talk to an investor. and the investor hands them, their what, and says, "No, I'm not doing it." My friend, like the explanation I gave earlier. What do you tell your students, and how do you tell them to deal with that?
Sure. Alicia, the biggest thing I would like to say is, as a SEC ruling, Securities and Exchange Commission ruling says 3 contacts. So 1, you want to just meet with the person you are talking to without even talking about business at all. You want to get to know them. Where they went to school, what job they are doing, how they are investing, things like that, how long they've been there, about their children, everything right there. That's the first visit. You open up there, like I always say that, like a sea, right? On the seashore, when there are people, over there walking on the sand, and they're making castles and things like that. The sand is like up and down in different places. People are stepped over it and all that. But when the wave comes, it smooths that layer. So we should always keep that in mind, that as we are talking to our investors and our other people, prospects in our business or anybody, they have some things going on in their mind. So you got to kind of level it up. And then how to level it up is to have common ground. You got to have common ground and share that where you are coming from, and what education have you done, and get to know them first time. Second time when you meet, you dig deeper into what their association has been in real estate. See? So that's a big part. That is the second meeting. Now you try to tell them and find them, oh, by the way, did you invest in real estate? And find out from them. See, God gave us 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Actually, ever since you taught me that, I've been trying to teach my daughter that.
It's so important. We need to just ask question and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Just shut up.
Yes, I always say, shut up and listen.
And speak and speak. And as they speak, you ask more questions, let them speak again. And you take notes down. I always say, I have bad memory, as you can tell, Alicia, is it okay if I can take some notes down, because I won't remember too much,
Mm-hmm.
And this way, I don't want to ask you again the same things. Mm-hmm. And you would feel as if I'm a professional because I'm taking it down. And a lot of people tell me on my iPhone, I open up to the context, and in the notes, there is a note section. I write a lot of things. When people email me, I copy and paste their email into the notes section of my contact.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
I might have to pull that.
I know.
Because I don't have any memory.
Oh my gosh. See, the thing is, I was able to meet with one of my students joined yesterday. He met me 6 months back. And I was able to tell him so much stuff from my iPhone.
And plus it makes your prospect feel important, correct?
Totally. That's the main reason. See, you got to respect the prospect. You got to respect their time. You got to respect and show that excitement that their time is worth than your time, and that's so very important. So that's one thing. But the biggest thing I would like to say also, everybody who's listening to me or watching me, please, in your, when there are fields, right, in the iPhone, Android, like that, touch the fields. Put down the company name, put down another thing, job title, departments. But guess what? I write their wife's name, how long they've been married, their birthday. If they share with me their kids' names, I write everything. The oldest kid comes first, then the youngest, younger. And how did they come in touch with me? Mm-hmm. I put that also in there. So I can search Monil Invest, by the way, and I can look at 3 years of every contact who had filled out information, Monil Invest.
Okay, so tell me this. So when you're talking, listen, I'm going to be your student. Okay.
Sure.
Vinney, I did what you said. I was talking to this investor. I did the 3 touches, and then when I finally told them about this great property that I'm about to invest in, and all of the all of the assets to this deal. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I know people who, whatever the objection was.
Sure.
But I didn't know how to really, how to address the guy after he told me no.
Okay.
What do you say next when he shows
Very
up?
good point, Alicia. Let me just kind of take you back a little bit more. Like I teach in my academy, you got to have a credibility kit, right? That's the brochure, the educational brochure. I talk about the investor.
That's right. I remember now.
Yeah.
This is why I need to know that.
And have, a presence so that you are sharing with them why multifamily and why it's becoming renters nation, USA. And there are statistics and graphs. People are logical and emotional. Remember that. So you want to share with them some knowledge in the brochure form and ask them questions. Can you see the purpose behind why we are investing in multifamily? So you teach them. That's how I started about 14 years back. I wanted to teach my investors. I went from 0 to 167 investors now, and it didn't take me overnight at all. Do not worry. If somebody says no, they are saying no at that time. That's the other golden rule. Never, ever, ever say no is a no. But you got to keep in touch with them and take the permission to
follow up is key.
Letter. Exactly. Follow up, and you say, I appreciate that. Maybe this is not the right time for you, but I have not done a good job in sharing with you why Florida is a great market. And that's why I teach my students, they need to send a newsletter every month with a lot of nice links and everything to the investor base so that they are getting something from you in the emerging market where you're going to be buying your first deal. Because if you do not warm your investor and just bring them the deal, they're going to say no, possibly. But you got to slowly make their mind and share with them. If there is something that you found a great article, send them. Don't wait for a month. I send it to them that morning, next day, and get your Facebook also filled with great information. And you can even form a group like I have, 900 or 1,000 people there now. But the thing is, you can attract great people in there. So answer your question. I'm not saying that you may not get that. You will get it. Not every investor, just like we just talked about, learn to love knows. That's the key thing. So also, situation-wise, you want to look back and review what you covered with that investor and what you could have done. See, the insanity is if we don't take action to remedy that situation and we expect different results. If we keep on doing the same thing, we keep on handling the same investor same way. Exactly.
It's the definition of insanity, I think, is what they say. If you do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results.
Different results.
Yeah. Okay. And so what are maybe 3 things? Let's just say I'm still your student. I got the no. Okay. And I remember everything that I said and all the 3 touches or 4 touches or whatever I did.
Yep.
What do you tell them to look at? What would you tell me to look at? And because the guy told me no, but he didn't give me a reason.
Okay, good point. And you could just kind of try to get the reason out of the person.
Okay,
but
how would I do that?
It's quite possible that you definitely don't want to invest right now. It could be your funds are tied up somewhere else, or you have had a bad something in your family or friends mentioned about this area. You got to give them answers. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm kind of feeding them the answers so that they could say, oh yeah, that is one thing that might have been the reason. Or they lost money, in a deal recently, or they are going through, any kind of family situation also that we did not uncover beforehand. So I always believe when people are saying no at the end, you always want to thank them and say, I hope I've added a little bit value to you. And maybe you might think about there is another better time that you would like to talk to me and invest with me. Please keep that. Can I get your permission to put you on my newsletter? See, so you always want to work with abundance, with a lot of people wanting to do business with you. See, those prospects are prospects not at that moment. It's the relationship building business. And that's the key we need to understand. It's not a run and gun show at all. You got to build with them. And then, you know what? If you felt them, made them happy, and left them at a good, positive gesture, not like frustrated, why you don't want to work with me, kind of, they can sense it with you. They will tell, and give them 3 business cards, guys. Never, never, never give 1 business card. If I can teach one thing today, please.
That's the thing. I didn't. I never, and I've been in sales for a very long time. I never thought, why would I? Okay, so my question is, why am I giving them 3? Now that you said it, I think I know the answer,
Yes.
but I want to hear it from the master.
Oh my gosh, totally, Alicia. See, the thing is, people like you and everything. And if you give them 1 business card, they are not going to give that card away to somebody else. They want to get back to you. That's why I give 3 or 4 business cards. That's the least we could do. 3 to 4 business cards. And I tell everybody, I've been meeting, in sales for 40 years, right? And I've been doing it. And my picture is on the card, guys, for 40 years. My email address has picture on it. I believe in that because I want them to feel and associate with me right away. When
See
they
your
look
face and be like, oh, yeah, I remember him. So here's a question, because I kind of really want to dig it, because I didn't even ever thought about this. And I'm 20 years in sales. I'm obviously a minnow compared to you. But so what if you were to give let's just say I'm the investor. You were to give me 4 business cards. I would turn around and say, why are you giving me this? I don't really need all this.
Excellent. You covered that. You say, you know what, Alicia, I want to give you 3 or 4 business cards. Is that okay? Because I know you might be thinking of some other people in your family, in your acquaintance, in your circle who could benefit from my services. So I want to just give you a couple of cards extra so that you could pass them on. Is that okay? Can I count on you? I hope you don't trash it or throw it away. And other person will say, oh, sure, give me 2, give me 3, and some
don't feel obligated
to tell me, give me 5. They say, hey, I'm going to a meeting. I would love to spread this out. Oh my gosh. I also remember where I read it. I don't know. Even when we were paying the bills, we were putting business cards in paying the bills. Wow. What a technique. What a technique. I mean, how many people will send a business card and the business
when you're writing that check, you mean, and you're sending that check in? Because that doesn't just go to the company, it goes to somebody who works at the company.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that. Okay. You are serious. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, guys, but you're going to have to hear us again talk about overcoming objections and basically the art of the pitch, because another subject I want to dig into, but we don't have time today because it's going to be a longer type of subject that we're going to talk about, which is the warm up and discovering how important that is and how that helps you overcome objections before you get them and all that stuff. So we're definitely going to dig into that. Don't you agree?
Oh, definitely, Alicia. Again, as we wrap up this one about objections, please, everybody, love objections. Number 1, give yourself the thinking that people, when they object, they are in the process of making decision. They are trying to get the answers from you so that they feel comfortable, and they are making slower. We call them as trial closes also. To get the objections, it's good to ask, Alicia, how is it going so far? How do you like it this so far? Do you see the purpose behind what we just talked about? Do you see why cash on cash is one of the best indicators to find out if the property has value or not? Do you understand, the value add function that I just mentioned, the valley trash and the dog park and the dog wash, and also having the cafes in the communities, things like that, so you can really bring some really great synergy in your conversation when people give you objections.
I actually have a really good idea. Tell me what you think about this. I think the audience is going to love it. I want you to go back to your mastermind students and the students that they learn from you, and have each one of them write down an objection that they have gotten. And then
I love it.
We'll do an entire episode where I will give you the objection and you will tell us how to overcome it.
I would love it. I would love it, Alicia. That's a great idea.
That's killer content right there.
Totally.
Because I could ask you your common objections, but you're different. You're a seasoned veteran in this. We want to talk about the people who are newbies or mid-grade. You know what I mean? They're just not to your aspect. They're going to have different objections because their pitch is different, their experience is different, their attitude is different, how they present things are different. So it's a different animal. So I'd like to get it from them and have them send in all of their top objections, and then we'll make a list of the top ones, and then we'll go through them. There'll probably also be a 2-part.
Great idea.
Really good content.
Awesome. And also this, people who are watching us or listening to us, please do write your objections down below so that we can really form them into questions like Alicia is saying. That's a great idea, Alicia, because we don't want to give content just what we feel is right or wrong. I think we need to tackle the real issues. And that's what this podcast is about. A lot of people have been asking me to do this podcast. I said, no. But you are the force behind it. I
conned them into it. I overcame objections before I got them. I assumed the close.
I appreciate that. Really. And now we have 2 podcasts every week. One is the Syndication Made Easy, sequel to the book. My book is right here. I hope you have already picked up the book, guys. It's got great information for last 12 years. Put them in here for such a reasonable price. And then also the other one is I don't know if I have a graphic. I should actually get some banners made.
I want one.
Yeah, Mr. Smiley's. Oh, we will make some banners. We'll talk about it.
And we'll get some swag for sure. We'll get some swag.
And that's the Mr. Smiley's Motivation Talk Show. I hope you will, subscribe to both, give positive comments, reviews, and let's make it a better world.
Yes, definitely, guys. If you thought he was motivating in a syndication, this syndication podcast, wait till he gets done, because it's not all about syndication. It's about real life issues and motivation and his experience. And I won't say how old he is, but he has some experience in overcoming different challenges in life. So I hope you guys do join us. That will be actually launching here in the next couple weeks. So, all right, guys. So this is, Syndication Made Easy. I am so happy that you guys joined us. This is your weekly nugget from Mr. Smiles on the syndication process. We've talked today about overcoming objections, and I'll be honest with you, I think we have so much more content to give. So I'm most likely going to do a number 2 for this one. And we'll also, ask any objections. If you get objections, try to keep it towards the syndication process or working with investors, or if it's just investors in general. But definitely, comment below what your questions are, or reach out to Mr. Chopra through his website, VinneyChopra.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. We hope you have a great week.
Yes.
Mr. Smiles, Thank you so much. Yeah, no, definitely. And guys, if you want, you can jump onto his website, and on that website, you can actually, apply for one of his, for his academy, because he doesn't just take everybody. He takes the business very seriously, and you want serious people in his academy. You can also invest with him. You can have personal mentorship. So, go to his website, check out the different options. Also, definitely check out his #1 international best-selling book on Amazon, Syndication Made Easy by Vinney Chopra, which the link will be here in the show notes. I hope you guys have a great week. You too, Vinney.
Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Join
Listen
next
to
week.
us. Tune in every week, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you, and please give good comments and pass it. Share these podcasts. They're going to be all over the place, and also on YouTube, where you could see us live as you are able to see. Thank you, Alicia. See you next week.
Yeah, thank you, Vinney. I hope you have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to listen to Mr. Smiles next week with more golden nuggets and top-notch coaching tips. You can reach him by going to VinneyChopra.com or texting the word syndication to 474747. Be sure to like, comment, and share to show everyone how Mr. Smiles has brought your apartment syndication business to the next level.